Carrie Underwood had come to the Today with Jenna and Friends show expecting an easy morning chat, a few laughs, a song or two, and some light-hearted questions about her new tour. But the moment she stepped onto the stage, she sensed something was off. Jenna Bush Hager's smile seemed tighter than usual, and the studio's air crackled with the kind of tension that cameras couldn't hide. The first few questions were friendly, but then Jenna shifted gears, bringing up a topic that had been swirling through social media for weeks: the controversy around Carrie's remarks about the music industry's treatment of female country artists. "Some people say you're not as supportive of new female singers as you claim to be," Jenna said, her tone almost casual but laced with challenge. Carrie blinked, visibly taken aback. "Excuse me?" she said, forcing a polite smile. The audience laughed nervously. The spark had been lit, and the conversation that followed would soon explode far beyond what either woman expected. Carrie took a deep breath, trying to stay composed. "I've done nothing but support women in country music," she said calmly, though her eyes flashed. Jenna pressed on, leaning forward with her cue cards. "Then how do you respond to those who say your comments about today's female artists relying too much on pop sounds were dismissive?" The room went silent. Carrie's jaw tightened. "I meant that we should all stay true to the roots of country," she replied. "That's not dismissive, that's passion." But Jenna didn't back down. "But isn't that gatekeeping?" she countered, raising an eyebrow. Carrie's face changed. She wasn't used to being questioned like this on live television, especially not by someone who was supposed to be friendly. She laughed tightly, but the humor didn't reach her eyes. "I think you're twisting my words, Jenna," she said sharply. The studio audience shifted uncomfortably, sensing the growing storm. Jenna, however, wasn't done. "I'm just asking what fans are asking," she said. "Some think you've become, well, a little out of touch." The words hit Carrie like a slap. She stared at Jenna for a long moment before replying, "Out of touch? Jenna, I've been writing, recording, and touring for over 2 decades. I think I understand my fans pretty well." The crowd erupted in applause, but the air was still tense. Jenna gave a half smile, but her tone turned icy. "It's not about your past, Carrie. It's about whether you're willing to evolve." That was the last straw. Carrie leaned forward, her voice low but firm. "Evolve doesn't mean sell out," she said. "It means staying true to who you are, even when others tell you to change." Jenna looked slightly stunned by the force of Carrie's words, but instead of backing off, she made one last attempt to steer the segment. "That's fair," she said. "But critics also say you've distanced yourself from the newer wave of country, artists like Kelsey Ballerini and Lainey Wilson." "I love those girls," Carrie interrupted, her patience wearing thin. "Don't twist this into something it's not." The producer's voice buzzed urgently in Jenna's earpiece, telling her to wrap the segment, but the energy on stage was too charged. Jenna tried to soften her tone, but it came out wrong. "I'm not twisting anything, Carrie. I'm just doing my job." Carrie gave a sharp laugh. "And I'm just defending mine." The tension became unbearable. Jenna attempted a laugh, hoping to diffuse the situation, but Carrie wasn't smiling anymore. "You know what?" she said, standing up abruptly, her mic wire snapping free from her jacket. "If this is what you call journalism, then I'm done." The audience gasped as Carrie's chair scraped loudly against the floor. Jenna tried to calm her. "Carrie, come on, we're live." "Exactly," Carrie shot back. "We're live, and everyone can see how you're trying to corner me." She turned to the audience. "I came here to talk about music, not to be interrogated." The studio fell completely silent. Jenna's co-host tried to jump in, mumbling something about a commercial break, but Carrie had already grabbed her water bottle and was walking off the stage. The cameras tried to follow her, but producers quickly cut to a wide shot of Jenna sitting awkwardly at the table, smiling through the chaos. "We'll be right back," Jenna said stiffly, forcing cheer into her voice as the show cut to an ad break. But by then, clips of the walk-off were already being clipped and posted online by audience members, spreading like wildfire across social media. Within minutes, hashtags like Char Carrie vs Jenna and Char Carrie walks off began trending on X and Instagram. Fans were divided. Some praised Carrie for standing her ground. Others accused her of overreacting. "She's a legend," one fan posted. Jenna was out of line. Others wrote, "If she can't handle a few questions, maybe she is out of touch." By the afternoon, major entertainment outlets had picked up the story. "TMZ Entertainment Tonight. and people all ran variations of the same headline. Carrie Underwood storms off set after on-air clash with Jenna Hager. Backstage, things weren't much calmer. Carrie was pacing, her publicist begging her to cool down. "You can't just walk out, Carrie," he said. "This will blow up," she glared at him. "Good," she snapped. "Maybe people will finally stop treating me like I'm some fragile doll who has to smile through disrespect." Meanwhile, Jenna sat quietly in her dressing room, replaying the interview in her head. She hadn't meant for it to go that far, or had she? The producers had told her to dig deeper, but she hadn't realized it would ignite a full-blown celebrity feud. By evening, the clip had over 10 million views. Carrie released a short statement on her Instagram story. "I believe in standing up for yourself, always." Jenna, on the other hand, took a more measured tone, saying on the next day's show, "Sometimes conversations get passionate. That's part of live television." But viewers weren't buying it. Comment sections flooded with debates, memes, and even fan edits of the confrontation, complete with dramatic music. It was the viral TV moment no one had planned for, but everyone was talking about. In the days that followed, both women tried to move on. Carrie continued, both women tried to move on. Carrie continued her tour, but fans at her next concert couldn't resist shouting, "We love you, Carrie." Between songs, she smiled faintly, clearly still shaken but stronger for it. Jenna's producers reportedly told her to tone it down for future interviews. Yet behind the scenes, the network was thrilled. Ratings for Today with Jenna and Friends had spiked overnight. What began as a tense interview had become a cultural flashpoint, blurring the line between authenticity and outrage in modern celebrity media. And somewhere deep down, both Carrie and Jenna knew neither of their careers would ever be quite the same again. In the days after the confrontation, Carrie Underwood retreated to her Nashville home, trying to shut out the noise that had consumed every corner of the internet. But the storm wouldn't die down. Paparazzi staked out her driveway, reporters called her publicist nonstop, and every late-night show host seemed to have a joke ready about Carrie versus Jenna. What had been meant as a light morning interview had now turned into one of the biggest celebrity talk show scandals of the year. Her husband, Mike Fisher, quietly stood by her side, urging her not to respond further. But Carrie couldn't let it go. She replayed that moment in her mind again and again. The way Jenna had said "out of touch," the smirk, the audience's uneasy laughter. It had touched something deep in her, something raw. She'd fought too hard for her place in the industry to be reduced to a viral soundbite. Meanwhile, at NBC headquarters, the Today team was in crisis mode. Producers held emergency meetings, analyzing the footage, wondering how to handle the fallout. Some wanted to invite Carrie back for a reconciliation episode. Others said it was too risky. Jenna herself was shaken. She hadn't slept much since the incident, scrolling through thousands of comments that alternated between defending her and tearing her apart. "You tried to humiliate her," one fan wrote. "You were just doing your job," said another. But one comment in particular stuck with her. "Jenna, you forgot that you were talking to a human being." She read it again and again until it started to sting. Maybe she thought she really had pushed too far. Carrie's team, however, wasn't interested in reconciliation. Her manager released a statement saying, "Carrie values honesty and integrity above all. She will always speak up when disrespected." That sentence alone reignited the flames. Entertainment bloggers dissected every word, claiming Carrie was doubling down and Jenna was in hiding. By now, both women were trending daily, their faces splashed across thumbnails and headlines on YouTube, TikTok, and entertainment news. Every outlet wanted an exclusive. Offers poured in for Carrie to set the record straight, but she refused. "They want drama," she told her PR rep. "I'm not giving them another show."